This week in the shop, got a new project. 2002 Arctic Cat 500. And as you guys saw, we're a step ahead of all the other projects because this one actually runs and moves. We picked this thing up for Papa. There's a second machine. He's got the newer Arctic Cat.
He wanted something four-wheel drive with a little bit more power.
Yep.
So we found this for fairly cheap. It, as far as we can tell, needs new tires, which are all stacked over there. Those are all here. Needs brakes all the way around. Needs rear shocks, which we have not gotten yet. But we got to get the bushings for the rear shocks. It needs the rear plastics, which we have. The side plastics, which we have. It needs a carburetor cleaned, oil change,
Petcock
changed.
choke, which we don't have yet.
Got to get a new choke lever because that one broke.
It has 1,420 miles on it. It's not very high mileage of a machine.
She was definitely used on a farm, so she's a little rough around the edges. The engine that they use on this is actually the same as the engine on the Quadmaster. So we're already familiar with the Quadmaster, so this one shouldn't be too hard to work on. So we're going to pull out the parts so we can show you guys everything and go from there.
Sweet.
Alrighty, so these are our side plastics. This is the...
They go here.
It's the front grille for up here. This is our new brake master. A little fancier.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I'm hoping that this is the same as that.
It would appear so, but we'll find out.
Absolutely. So we'll figure that out. They had replaced the petcock, but unfortunately they put the wrong one on there. There are two different types. They have that type and then this one here with the plastic on it. So, figure we get the right one and make it look right instead of having what they put on there. So, there's that. We got the brakes. All three pads are the same for the front and rear. Those are the part numbers. And then we ordered a carburetor rebuild kit. New jets, seals, all that fun stuff. So I'm hoping this is the correct one because they were like, this is an odd year where there's a couple different variations of the carburetor. So I'm hoping this one works. If not, we'll figure it out.
One thing we did off camera before we even showed you guys is we had the wrong seat on this machine when we originally picked it up. So this is a part we already swapped over, but we picked this up on eBay.
Used, obviously.
What did Dad pay for it? It was like 80 bucks, I think, maybe 100.
Something like that.
It wasn't crazy.
Nope.
But that's the correct seat.
So the seat that they had on here was for a 99, which was totally different, where this has got the latches here that go down in the frame. The other one had a different setup and a different hookup. You can see these rear plastics are destroyed, and in the process they broke the latch. So we're going to have to re-weld it back here to the frame, I believe. But that's not that hard. We'll figure it out. So the guy we bought it from said that he had, I believe he said he replaced the air filter. He tried to clean the carburetor. Yeah, new air filter.
Just needs a little oil. It's dry.
Yep.
I remember that because I checked it out with Papa the other day.
Yep. So he didn't do an oil change to it, but he changed the petcock and he tried to clean the carburetor. The guy said he wasn't quite that mechanically inclined, so he was kind of winging it, which is fine. But we're gonna go through and we're gonna get it all right. And get her up and running for Papa, and hopefully he'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so. Sweet. We're gonna dig in? check back with you guys later. Alright, so as you guys saw in the time lapse, we pulled the rear plastics and we pulled the fuel tank. To get the rear plastics off, there was two 13mm bolts that held the rack on.
On each side?
Yep, on either side. One of the 13mm was holding up this bracket here on the right for the release for the seat. You can see that bracket is all bent to hell, so we're going to have to go through and fandangle that, maybe order a new one. If we can save it, we will. As you can see, we didn't pull the fuse panel off, so since these plastics were junk anyway, we ended up just breaking the plastics and leaving the fuse panel in there for now.
Yep, and then they've got a winch box back here that was for an old winch. So I'll have to pull that off too.
Yep.
And pull this all out before we put that in there. You can see if you watch the top of this shock, these shock bushings are gone. And I mean, they're not very good. So we gotta order some new shocks for the front and rear, which I'll get on finding somehow.
Yeah, we gotta do that. Pretty easy. It was just two of these Torx bolts. They're 25mm to get the gas tank off.
T25.
Yep, to take the plastics off. You had two in the footwells on either side, and then there should be two right here. I believe this machine only had one though.
Yeah, they lost one somewhere.
And then, like I said, those 13s in the back here. So, and then with the fuel tank, once you got those two Torx off, slide back, and we remove the fuel line. And it was 1, 2, 3. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is pull the carburetor, get the ultrasonic cleaner going. We could do tires tonight.
I don't feel like doing tires tonight.
Could do a front master cylinder tonight.
We could, but that involves. I think we're gonna lift her up in the air, put her on all 4 jack stands so we get the tires off. Get a little better look of the underneath here. Make sure there's nothing crazy going on.
See where the night takes us. Cool. Alright, so we got it up in the air. It's on jack stands. Pulled the tires off. All 4 tires around are 17mm. Rear brake's very interesting of a setup. Stitches was just showing me for the mechanical brake on the foot. You got the foot with the lever. Pulls here, and it goes. And it pulls the cable just like this, and this is what pulls the piston closed.
Pulls the pads together.
Yeah, it is super simple. Cool.
Alrighty, so it's the next night. Going to try and do the brakes. I figured I could do all the brakes all the way around and set up the new master cylinder up here. But unfortunately, the bleeder screw snapped off on this caliper. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to order all 3 calipers new. I did find them on eBay, or sorry, Amazon. And let's see, Matai. Those are the part numbers: 0402, 011, and 010. So I know the right side and the rear are the same. This is the only one that's different. The only difference is the others is different, so the bleeder is upwards. So those should work for this. I'm going to get them on order. They should be here in a couple days. Now, unfortunately, it's one of the downfalls to working on older machines. Things break, and when you least expect it. So instead, I think I'm going to go through, break down these old tires, try and get them off the rims, and get them ready for the new tires over there. So I'll pull out the trusty old tire machine there, pop these off the bead, and go from there. Alright, so as you saw, I broke them down. You can see these are the rear rims, the front rims. They're all actually the same size, all same width. Let's see here. So for the rears, you can see where the valve stem comes out. You want to take them off where the lip is the smallest, because you don't want to try and fight to get up over this lip. So you're going to take it off the smallest lip first and move everything off that side. Then the ones for the front, you're going to move it the same way. You're going to move the smallest lip and then pull it forward. You can see somebody put slime in this one. If you can avoid it, because it makes a mess. I ended up just chucking the tires right out the door. Probably not a smart idea for cleanup later, but they don't look like bad tires until you start actually looking at the dry rot on them. So at least the front ones got some decent tread on them. The rears don't have as good a tread. The fronts probably could have been patched or thrown a tube in them and been good, but Papa said he wanted new ones, so we're getting them new ones on, the new shoes on the old girl. Yeah, we don't have the valve stems on hand tonight. I'm gonna have to run to our local auto parts store, and yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. So there's not really much more I could do. I could clean the carburetor, but it's really hot out today, so I'm just gonna kind of stick with that, and I'll swing back out here tomorrow and do a little bit more work. Check with you tomorrow. Alright, so I went out, got some new valve stems. So I'm going to go through and start reinstalling tires. So I'm going to clean up the rim a little bit, throw on new tires and air them up, and we'll go from there. You can see we got the new tires mounted on the rims. The rear two here fought me a little bit. The original tires that the machine calls for are 25/8/12s on the front and 25/10/12s on the rear. We went up a size and a little wider, so for the front ones, which are on the bottom here, are 26 9/12s. Then the rears here, we did 26 11/12. And these are just these Milan parts. They're 6-ply, like side-by-side tires. This is what Papa bought, so that's what we put on. I think she'll look mean with the tire on there. All right, so for this week, we pulled the Arctic Cat 500 into the shop, started breaking it down, pulled the tank off, the airbox cover off, rear plastics off with the rack. We dismounted and remounted new tires. I took off camera, I went through and I pulled all the brake lines and drained all the fluid out. We just got to wait for the new caliper assemblies to come in. Should be here in a day or so. And we'll jump right back into it. Once they get here, we'll do the brakes, replace the shock bushings here for all four, clean the carburetor, and just continue on what needs to be done. So, if you like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Look us up on Instagram at rusted_nut_repair. And see you next time.